There's something on your phone right now that's causing more damage than you realize. While you sleep, while you work, while you pray, it's slowly dimming your spiritual light. And the most dangerous part, you probably downloaded it thinking it would make your life better. Welcome. I've discovered something that will change how you see those glowing apps on your screen forever. What I'm about to share isn't just another warning about screen time or digital detox. It's about protecting your eternal soul from an invisible battle happening right in your pocket. In just the next few minutes, I'll reveal which popular apps are specifically designed to target your spiritual vulnerabilities. You'll learn why even some positive mindfulness and meditation apps might be leading you down a dangerous path. I've spent months researching this topic, consulting with spiritual advisors, and what I found left me shocked. But here's the truth. This isn't about fear, this is about freedom. Freedom from the digital chains that are subtly wrapping around your spirit. Freedom from the apps that are slowly replacing your divine purpose with hollow notifications and empty validation. The most crucial part, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which apps to remove immediately. You'll understand why certain popular applications are more dangerous than others. And most importantly, you'll learn how to use your phone in a way that strengthens rather than weakens your spiritual connection. This isn't speculation or conspiracy. These are facts backed by both spiritual wisdom and modern research. And if you're thinking it's just an app, how bad could it be? Trust me, what I'm about to share will open your eyes to a reality that most people never see. Stay with me, because what you learn in the next few minutes could be the difference between digital bondage and spiritual freedom. Your soul's well-being might depend on it more than you think. Behind every bright screen and seamless interface lies a carefully crafted web of digital deception. Each notification, each like, each small dopamine hit serves a deeper purpose, gradually pulling us away from divine truth into a world of artificial meaning. Most striking is how subtly this deception operates. Modern apps aren't just tools anymore, they've become gateways that reshape our perception of reality. When we scroll through our feeds, we're not just passing time. We're being conditioned to seek validation from pixels instead of prayer, to find comfort in comments rather than contemplation. Deep within popular apps exists sophisticated psychology, deliberately designed to hijack attention spans and exploit spiritual vulnerabilities. Take those seemingly innocent productivity apps. They promise efficiency, but often replace divine timing with rigid schedules. Weather apps appear helpful, but can diminish our trust in divine providence. Even calculator apps can make us rely more on digital certainty than spiritual discernment. What's truly alarming isn't just individual apps, but their collective impact on our spiritual sensitivity. Every minute spent mindlessly tapping and scrolling is a minute lost from divine connection. Each push notification interrupts not just our focus, but our ability to hear that still, small voice of truth. Research shows an average person checks their phone 96 times daily. That's 96 potential moments of divine connection replaced by digital distraction. These interruptions don't just break our concentration, they fragment our spiritual awareness, making it increasingly difficult to maintain deep, meaningful communion with higher truth. Modern apps have mastered the art of creating artificial urgency. That little red badge, that pulsing notification light, they trigger something primal in us, making us believe digital messages deserve immediate attention over spiritual promptings. This false sense of urgency slowly erodes our ability to distinguish between what's truly important and what's merely urgent. Beyond surface-level distractions lies an even deeper deception. These apps aren't just changing our behaviors, they're altering our spiritual DNA, rewiring how we process meaning, truth, and purpose. Each seemingly harmless scroll creates micro-separations between our souls and divine guidance, building invisible walls pixel by pixel. Social media platforms market themselves as bridges of connection, but in reality, They've become modern-day towers of Babel, structures built on pride, comparison, and spiritual confusion. What began as tools for sharing life's moments has morphed into altars where we sacrifice our peace, authenticity, and divine purpose. Most concerning is how these platforms systematically replace genuine spiritual fulfillment with shallow substitutes. Every like becomes a counterfeit blessing. Each share masquerades as true ministry. Comments pose as meaningful fellowship. Yet beneath this digital veneer lies a spiritual vacancy that no amount of engagement can fill. Scrolling through perfectly curated feeds triggers a dangerous spiral of comparison. While ancient wisdom teaches contentment and gratitude, social media platforms fuel an endless cycle of spiritual dissatisfaction. Users find themselves measuring their blessings against carefully filtered snapshots of others' lives, unknowingly participating in a modern form of idolatry. Research reveals disturbing patterns. Increased social media usage directly correlates with decreased prayer time, reduced biblical study, and diminished spiritual peace. People spend an average of 2.5 hours daily on social media. That's 2.5 hours when their spirits could be receiving true nourishment instead of digital empty calories. Beyond time wastage lies a deeper corruption. Social platforms subtly shift our focus from eternal values to temporary validation. Sacred moments become photo opportunities. Quiet reflection transforms into status updates. Private prayers morph into public performances. This constant external validation seeking gradually erodes our ability to find peace in divine approval alone. Many users report feeling spiritually drained after scrolling sessions, yet few recognize why. These platforms masterfully exploit our God-given desire for community and connection, redirecting it towards shallow interactions that leave our souls malnourished. Each scroll creates spiritual static, making it harder to hear divine guidance through digital noise. Perhaps most deceptively, social media presents itself as a tool for spreading light while often becoming a source of darkness. Users scroll past countless inspirational quotes and religious content, yet studies show increased platform usage correlates with decreased authentic spiritual practice and genuine faith application. Modern mindfulness apps present themselves as sanctuaries of peace in our chaotic world. Yet these digital meditation guides often lead seekers down a path that subtly contradicts true spiritual growth. What masquerades as enlightenment frequently becomes another form of spiritual misdirection. Beneath polished interfaces and soothing voices lies a fundamental paradox. These apps promote emptying our minds when we should be filling them with divine truth. They encourage users to find peace within themselves rather than through higher guidance. Each guided session subtly reinforces self-reliance over divine dependence, creating spiritual confusion wrapped in peaceful packaging. Something profoundly concerning happens when ancient spiritual practices become commodified through technology. Traditional meditation, once focused on communion with divine truth, now often promotes a watered-down spirituality that fits neatly within app notifications and progress trackers. Sacred practices become gamified experiences, complete with achievement badges and social sharing features. Research indicates regular users of mindfulness apps report feeling more spiritual, while simultaneously becoming less engaged with authentic faith practices. These apps skillfully blur lines between true peace and temporary calm, between divine wisdom and secular meditation techniques. Users often mistake emotional tranquility for spiritual growth, missing crucial differences between relaxation and genuine divine connection. Many popular meditation apps incorporate elements from various spiritual traditions, creating a dangerous spiritual smoothie that lacks true nourishment. While claiming to reduce anxiety and stress, these apps often increase spiritual uncertainty by presenting a buffet of contradicting beliefs and practices. Users find themselves practicing techniques that may directly oppose their core spiritual beliefs without realizing it. Most concerning is how these apps standardize and sanitize spiritual practices, removing their sacred essence while retaining just enough spiritual language to seem legitimate. They promise inner peace through carefully timed breathing exercises and guided visualizations, yet often lead users further from authentic spiritual truth rather than toward it. Clinical studies might show these apps reduce stress temporarily, but at what spiritual cost? By training users to seek peace through screens rather than through prayer, these applications may be creating a generation of spiritually confused individuals who mistake app-guided relaxation for genuine divine connection. Content streaming apps market themselves as innocent entertainment, yet beneath their polished interfaces lies a sophisticated system designed to slowly erode spiritual values. Each auto-playing episode, each personalized recommendation serves as another brick in an invisible wall between viewers and divine truth. Most streaming platforms employ advanced algorithms that study viewing patterns, gradually pushing boundaries of what users consider acceptable. What begins as mild content slowly shifts toward increasingly questionable material, desensitizing viewers through subtle increments. Shows that once would have sparked moral discomfort become normalized through repeated exposure. Research reveals disturbing patterns in how streaming content affects spiritual sensitivity. Studies show that excessive streaming correlates with decreased prayer time, reduced spiritual reading, and diminished moral discernment. Even more concerning, many viewers report losing their natural aversion to content that contradicts their spiritual values after prolonged platform usage. Hidden within seemingly innocent entertainment lurks carefully crafted messaging that challenges traditional values. Modern shows skillfully weave questionable worldviews into compelling narratives, making moral compromises seem reasonable, even admirable. Characters who embody virtue often appear naive or outdated, while those who embrace moral ambiguity are portrayed as sophisticated and relatable. Binge-watching culture presents another spiritual danger. It trains minds to seek constant stimulation rather than quiet reflection. Sacred evening hours, once reserved for prayer and contemplation, now dissolve into marathon viewing sessions. Each next episode click further weakens spiritual discipline, replacing divine appointments with digital distractions. Most alarmingly, entertainment apps have mastered subtle attitude adjustment. Through engaging storytelling and emotional manipulation, they reshape viewers' perspectives on fundamental truths. Moral absolutes become negotiable. Divine standards appear outdated, and spiritual conviction gets reframed as intolerance. Data shows average users spend 3.2 hours daily on streaming platforms, precious time when spirits could be receiving true nourishment instead of artificial fulfillment. This digital consumption doesn't just occupy time, it actively shapes worldviews, gradually replacing divine wisdom with Hollywood values. Beyond mere distraction, these platforms function as modern-day parables in reverse. Stories that slowly guide viewers away from eternal truth rather than toward it. Each viewing session subtly influences not just how we spend our time, but how we perceive right and wrong, truth and falsehood, sacred and profane. Gaming and gambling apps present themselves as harmless entertainment, yet they've perfected an insidious form of spiritual warfare. Within colorful interfaces and exciting reward systems lies a carefully crafted maze designed to trap souls in cycles of digital dependence. Most devastating is how these apps exploit fundamental spiritual vulnerabilities. Each level up, each rare item drop, each winning streak triggers dopamine responses that mimic spiritual fulfillment. Players chase digital achievements while true spiritual accomplishments gather dust. What starts as casual entertainment often evolves into compulsive behavior, replacing prayer time with playtime. Research exposes shocking statistics about gaming addiction's spiritual impact. Studies show dedicated gamers spend an average of 4.5 hours daily in virtual worlds, time stolen from real-world spiritual growth. More troubling still, many users report feeling more accomplished completing game objectives than fulfilling actual spiritual duties. Beyond mere time consumption, these apps masterfully create alternate value systems. Virtual currencies replace real wealth, digital friendships substitute genuine fellowship, and artificial achievements mask true purpose. Players invest countless hours building virtual kingdoms while their spiritual foundations crumble unnoticed. Gambling elements within games pose particularly severe spiritual dangers. Loot boxes, gacha systems, and in-app purchases exploit human weakness for chance and reward. These mechanics mirror traditional gambling but escape regulation through clever disguises. Users, especially young ones, develop gambling mindsets while believing they're just playing games. Most concerning is how these apps actively rewire spiritual priorities. Players often feel more urgency about daily login rewards than daily devotions, more commitment to guild responsibilities than spiritual communities, more investment in character stats than character development. This digital devotion slowly displaces genuine spiritual dedication. Advanced psychological tactics employed by these apps create powerful spiritual strongholds. Variable reward schedules, social pressure mechanics, and fear of missing out. FOMO techniques forge chains of digital bondage. Users find themselves bound by invisible ties to virtual worlds, unable to break free despite recognizing their spiritual decline. Multiplayer components add another layer of spiritual complexity. Online communities become substitute churches, guild leaders replace spiritual mentors, and virtual missions supersede real-world purpose. Players increasingly find their sense of belonging in digital spaces rather than spiritual places. Dating apps promise divine connections through digital means, yet they've created a marketplace where sacred bonds become mere transactions. Behind glossy profiles and clever algorithms lies a system that fundamentally distorts how we view love, commitment, and divine purpose in relationships. Most troubling is how these platforms reduce soul-level connections to surface-level swipes. Sacred attributes like character, faith, and spiritual depth become secondary to carefully curated photos and witty bios. Users find themselves judging potential life partners with less consideration than they'd give to choosing dinner. Quick, superficial decisions about deeply meaningful matters. Research reveals concerning patterns in how dating apps affect spiritual relationships. Studies show active users become increasingly judgmental, treating potential partners as disposable options rather than divine appointments. This mentality of endless choice often prevents genuine connections from forming, as users constantly wonder if someone better might be one swipe away. Beyond superficiality lies a deeper spiritual danger. These apps subtly reshape expectations about divine timing in relationships. Instead of trusting in perfect timing, users attempt to force connections through digital means. Natural seasons of singleness, crucial for spiritual growth, get interrupted by constant swiping and messaging. Dating platforms masterfully exploit loneliness while simultaneously deepening it. Each match provides a brief dopamine hit, creating addiction-like patterns in relationship seeking. Users report feeling more isolated despite having more connections, as quantity replaces quality in relationship building. Most alarming is how these apps normalize spiritual compromise. Filters for religious preferences become mere suggestions rather than foundations. Values that once seemed non-negotiable slowly shift into preferences as the desire for connection outweighs spiritual conviction. Each compromise seems small, yet collectively they create significant spiritual drift. Premium features add another concerning element: paying for potential divine connections. This commodification of relationships distorts sacred processes into commercial transactions. Users begin viewing potential partners through return on investment lenses rather than spiritual discernment. Ghost-like connections flood these platforms, shallow interactions that disappear as quickly as they form. These brief exchanges leave spiritual residue, gradually numbing users to genuine connection while creating cycles of hope and disappointment that can damage faith in divine timing and provision. Right now, divine wisdom calls us to examine our digital lives with renewed clarity. Every app deletion becomes an act of spiritual warfare. Each conscious choice to disconnect represents a step toward genuine freedom. This isn't just about phone hygiene, it's about soul preservation in an increasingly digital age. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered how seemingly innocent apps wage subtle warfare against our spiritual well-being. From social media's false altar of validation to mindfulness apps' spiritual confusion, from entertainment's value erosion to gaming's addictive bonds, and dating apps' commodification of sacred connections, each category presents unique spiritual challenges that demand our attention. Now comes a crucial moment of decision. Looking at your phone right now, those glowing icons represent more than just apps, they represent choices. Each one either strengthens or weakens your spiritual connection. Some must be eliminated immediately, while others require strict boundaries and conscious usage. Here's a clear path forward. First, conduct a thorough spiritual audit of your apps. Remove anything that consistently pulls you away from prayer, meditation on truth, or genuine community. Be especially vigilant with apps that trigger comparison or spiritual dissatisfaction. Create addictive usage patterns. Normalize content that contradicts your values. Replace real spiritual connections with digital substitutes. Waste time that could be spent in genuine spiritual growth. Second, establish sacred digital boundaries. Set specific times for app usage, creating space for genuine spiritual connection. Turn notifications off during prayer times. Consider implementing regular digital Sabbaths. Complete breaks from phone use for spiritual renewal. Third, intentionally replace digital habits with spiritual practices. When tempted to scroll mindlessly, reach for spiritual reading instead. Rather than seeking validation through likes, seek it through prayer. Instead of binge-watching shows, invest time in real relationships and community service. Most importantly, recognize that this digital decluttering represents an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Our spiritual adversary constantly develops new digital traps, requiring continuous vigilance and regular reassessment of our app usage. Remember this fundamental truth: technology itself isn't evil, it's a tool that can either serve or sabotage spiritual growth. The key lies not in complete rejection, but in conscious, spiritually minded usage. Some apps can genuinely support spiritual growth when used with wisdom and clear boundaries. For those feeling overwhelmed by this message, take heart. Small steps toward digital freedom create significant spiritual impact. Start with one app deletion today. Set one new boundary. Make one conscious choice to replace digital distraction with spiritual connection. These small acts of digital rebellion against spiritual oppression build momentum toward lasting freedom. Consider the profound peace awaiting on the other side of digital decluttering: deeper prayer life, stronger spiritual connections, clearer divine guidance, and genuine rest for your soul. This peace far outweighs any temporary discomfort from app deletion or digital boundaries. If this message has resonated with your spirit, please take a moment to support our mission of spreading spiritual truth in this digital age. Hit that like button, not for algorithmic validation, but to help others find this crucial message. Subscribe to our channel and activate notifications to join a community committed to maintaining spiritual integrity in an increasingly digital world. Share this video with someone struggling with digital bondage. Your one share could be the divine appointment they need for breakthrough. Together, we can create a movement of spiritually conscious digital users who refuse to let apps control their spiritual destiny. Finally, I invite you to comment below with your own experiences of breaking free from digital spiritual bondage. Your testimony might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. Let's build a community of believers committed to using technology in ways that enhance rather than erode our spiritual lives. Remember, every notification you silence creates space to hear divine whispers. Every app you delete opens room for spiritual growth. Every boundary you set strengthens your soul's defenses. The choice is yours. Will you continue allowing apps to shape your spiritual journey, or will you take control today? Thank you for investing this time in your spiritual well-being. May you find the courage to make necessary changes and experience the freedom waiting on the other side of digital bondage. Until next time, guard your spirit in this digital age, and may true peace be your constant companion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to join us on this journey of spiritual freedom in the digital age. Together we can navigate these challenging times while keeping our spiritual integrity intact.